across the street, the state, not the street, in this lovely weather to join us. We appreciate you. Well, thank you.
How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Good. We got the rain out there, so it's a good day to be in. And like I said, we just had our training 2 weeks ago, and it was storming on our training day as well. So it's a good day to be in, right? All right. So how many returning folks do I have? Plenty of you. Awesome. And some of you, I was listening to everyone's introduction. Some of you have been teachers or work with at-risk youth, and we have a fellow foster care alumni. I am one as well. A foster care alumni. My husband and I, we are foster parents, and we have primarily fostered adolescents. And also in my work, I have worked with a lot of foster children as well. So my experience is not also as a camp director. This is my 7th year working with camp. We started our camp the same year that Plainwell did, so we are 3 years old at our church, but I've been with Royal Family with another camp through 7 years. So it's always interesting. It's a new group of kids every year, and we just finished our selection of campers. We're going to have 48 campers, and we have 80 staff for our camp this year. And one of the things I'm finding is we have a lot of sibling groups and a lot of neglected kids. And there's a difference between abused and neglected kids and how we work with them. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into that a little bit here. You guys received a handout, and it should say Attachment, Sensory, and Behavior Management. That's a handout that we're going to be going through here today. But I just wanted to start off by asking, for those of you who have done camp before, what kinds of things do you notice with our campers when they're having a meltdown? What are they doing? What are they saying? How are they reacting?
Well, I'm not returning, but I teach kindergarten and high school, and what I see in my kids is that they mimic behaviors that they've learned, so what they've seen their parents do. They'll use language that's far above what they should use, and may act aggressively if that's what they've seen.
Right. So yeah, they can act out in various ways. What else have you seen or noticed? Running away. Oh, runners. We've got plenty of runners, don't we? Especially that first day. They're running off that anxiety and they don't know. Great. What else do we notice?
Withdrawing.
Pardon?
Withdrawing,
absolutely.
Sometimes after an outburst or whatever, they don't remember what happened. They don't remember what they said exactly.
Yes.
They know they said something, but they don't know what it was.
Yep. So all of that has to do with, we'll be getting into sensory issues, sensory processing. But we're going to start with attachment disorders. And we're going to start with this, is that love is more important than technique. So what does that mean? To love more than use technique.
You don't have to have all the education in the world to do this. You just have to love the kids.
Absolutely. All we ask is that you have a heart for these kids and be willing to enter their world. A lot of our training focuses on understanding our campers' world. Because we even have, the last 2 years, we've had a poverty expert come in and do a training. Because one of the important demographics that we need to keep in mind, it doesn't matter what race, creed, color, anything like that, it's the demographic where poverty is usually involved. And so if we try to take a middle-class mindset and apply it to these poverty-setting kids, we're going to miss the mark completely. And one of the things that we have to understand, and you've probably noticed this already, that these kids know how to read people pretty quickly. They've had to do that to survive. And they can smell inauthentic people right away. So the more we try to understand their world, the easier it's going to be for us all. Because then that means that they understand that we are people who truly are committed to them and their success for a wonderful, great week. Remember, it's about creating positive memories for our campers. So that's really what it's all about. So love is more important than technique. And, you know, for some people, they're like, no, give us some tips and tricks that are, you know, the go-to thing to do. And I'm sorry, there is no cookie-cutter kid. They can come from the same family. Many of them are not in the same placements, home placements. So their environment is going to be different, and how each child reacts to trauma is going to be different. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and when I went into foster care, I was 5, and my siblings were older than I was. How I reacted and how my life has turned out is vastly different than my older siblings. Okay? And a lot of that comes down to choice and what I chose to do to make life different for myself and what my siblings chose. So we're going to look at, you know, the main thing is that a lot of these traumatized kids don't know how to attach. Because let's just think about, let's step into their world for a moment. And what have they experienced? What do we know about our campers and their worlds?
They really don't have any base, you know, support base or a standard, you know, solid foundation to.
They've had no solid foundation. There's been absolutely no consistency in their lives, none whatsoever. That's what. Tell me your name again.
Fear.
Sierra. Okay.
I was just gonna say like instability and like the last around so much time to form, and then after they have, like it's been taken away so much that they don't want to do.
Right. It's easier to not trust at all and not be vulnerable at all. All right. And that's what we see with our campers. That first day when they come, it's, you know, it's a wall, oftentimes. And, you know, we had one camper, our first year, she packed all of her belongings and brought them with her to camp because her foster parents didn't tell her where she was going and she didn't know she was going back, right? So she's used to being shipped off, and that was her way of dealing with not attaching. Yes?
That's kind of what I was going to say, is like almost like raw. I mean, they don't, after being moved around so many times, you just kind of give up on finding a solid foundation, and they just kind of, they know, like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do that long, so
Right.
they just don't. After a while, it's like, you may care, but it's harder for them to.
Right. It's harder for them to attach because the times they have attached, they've been hurt or things have been taken away from them. Absolutely.
They have, like, kind of a guarded wall.
They are going to have a guard. Absolutely. But then by the end of the week, what do we see with those guards? They come down. And the toughest, roughest, toughest kids who have been giving us the most trouble all week are the ones who are bawling the most on Friday when it's time for them to go. Can anyone give an amen to that? That's pretty much the way it goes. So attachment is really a challenge for these traumatized kids. And I love what Karen Purvis, the expert that we're going to be referring to in a moment here, they always refer to it as kids from hard places, which is totally the way I would describe that. Kids from hard places. That can encompass not only foster kids, adopted kids, it can cover any other at-risk youth. All right? So I love that term, kids from hard places. So in her, she does a lot of brain research. She has a wonderful, wonderful program called Empower to Connect. But some of the research, what it shows here is that for every year of trauma and detachment, and this is on your handout here, it takes 1 month of positive, loving environment to make up for that deficit. So think about it. That an abused and neglected child's brain is developmentally never the same as a quote-unquote normal child. All right? So I don't know if you guys have it on your applications where we have the chronological age, we ask for the chronological age, and we also ask for the emotional age of a child. Because our traumatized kids are never their chronological age. All right? And we had a few campers where they had 3 or more years gap between their chronological age and their emotional age. And with our camp, the way we place the campers is by their emotional age, not their chronological age. And the reason we've done that is what I noticed in the other camp I was a part of is there was a 10-year-old girl with 10-year-olds. But developmentally, she was at best 7. She did not get along, and it created so much anxiety for her. She wound up being in the Dean of Women's cabin for the rest of the week. But she bonded with the other 7-year-old girls on the playground and all that kind of stuff. And that's when I knew that when we were going to be launching our camp, that that's the way we were going to do that. Because we want to minimize the amount of stress and anxiety on all of our campers as best as possible. And this is one way to do that. So that's something to keep in mind, that a kid from a hard place is never developmentally going to be their chronological age. Also, traumatized kids are usually half their age developmentally. That is pretty extreme. It's not necessarily typical, but for those, we do have a few neglected kids that we have coming to camp this year where they have had significant medical neglect. And their emotional age, there is going to be a differentiation. So we have enough staff where we can, if we have to put some one-on-one exposure for them, we have that ability to do that. And you're going to know the ones who are really neglected. They are your tiny, tiny campers who are not, they are not their size, their normal size that they should be at their age. And so a lot of times kids from hard places, they have this what's called reactive attachment disorder. You're going to see this on pretty much every camper application. And what that means is a failure to form normal relationships. But when we were just describing, a traumatized kid doesn't know what a normal relationship looks like. Because for them, it's survival mode. Everything is survival mode for them. And whatever it takes, that's what they're going to do. That's what's going to kick in for them. And relationships are more of an afterthought than a forethought for them. Because when we think about it, you know, these kids, they're assuming you're being paid to be at camp with them. Because every other adult in their lives, they're caseworker, they're therapist, they're guardian ad litem, the lawyer that works on behalf of the child is supposed to speak on behalf of the child in the courtroom, things like that. Those are